So you can get a projector for about £35 on Amazon nowadays. And let's be honest, they're going to be trash. And I can assure you, if you want an amazing home cinema experience at your home, that's not going to cut it. So if we look at a laser TV worth 100 of those projectors, what's that going to be like? This is the BenQ V7050i. So if you're going to be spending £3,500 on a projector, what do you get? And put in the comments down below, what would you want for that kind of money? Well, this is a £3,500 projector, so let's review it and see what we get. The BenQ V7050i. Do I need to say it, BenQ?
BenQ, your names suck.
So, the is a 4K ultra short throw laser projector that comes with Android TV built in. Sorry, not built in, quite. We'll get to that. It supports HDR10/HLG, has 2500 ANSI lumens of brightness, and it has a contrast ratio of about 2 million to 1. It has super accurate colours, can play 3D movies, and has a Trevolo speaker system built into it. So let's be honest, on paper, it sounds pretty good. But we're not going to be watching it on paper, we're going to be watching it on the screen. So what's it actually like? First of all, let's break down what you get with the projector. So alongside this absolute unit, you have a dongle and a couple of remotes. One is the hardcore master remote that has shortcuts to all of the settings that you're going to be wanting changing if you're a cinema pro. And the good thing about that, other than it being absolutely massive, is it has this nice little backlight, which means you can see what you're doing even when you're in a dark room. The other is a smart TV style remote that is fairly simple. You can control all of the stuff on Android TV, but you can also control the projector settings too. There isn't a backlight on this one, but it does have a microphone so you can use it to do things with your Google Assistant built into Android TV. Now this remote is actually designed for the dongle that goes into the back of the projector. We'll get onto that. And the other remote is for the actual projector itself. However, you can control both things with the other remote. Now, I recently did a video on the BenQ W1800i. Another terrible name. And that used this same dongle method. In fact, a lot of projectors do. And honestly, I'm not a fan of the extra dongle. It's just more in the way and it's just a bit faffy. Like, if you're making one, just make it smart on the inside. It's been done. Other people do it. But anyway, now, at least on that other projector from BenQ, you could hide the dongle in the little box at the back. You can't do that on this one. It just sticks in the back like any other smart dongle. What's weirder though, is that it's trying to get us to put the USB onto the USB on the side. So it's not hidden around the back. It's like sticking out the side and it just looks a bit crap. Honestly, I didn't get it. Just use one of the other USB ports, you know what I mean? So other than that annoying wire, the projector does look pretty good. I really like the dark grey finish. You have the fabric covering the speakers at the front and cool looking vents along the side. We just have the sole power button on the top for the controls. Everything else has to be done with the remotes, but you do get two, so can't complain. The only other thing on top is this lens cover. That's quite a large cover that slides over the sort of recess where the lens is. Now this slides back to reveal the lens and all the other sensors it uses for measuring the picture. And honestly, this is a really nice addition that you don't really see on other ultra short throw projectors. So well done, BenQ. It is really useful because it protects the lens from dust, animal fur, children's fingerprints, all of that stuff. So I really like the addition. I think maybe they could have made it a little bit more discreet, maybe had it built into the unit instead of sort of sat on top, but hopefully we'll get that in the next one. On the back of the projector, we have 2 HDMI ports. One of those doubles as an audio return channel too. We also have another USB port and an optical audio port. So I'm happy to see an ARC and an optical audio port, so we have some options there. That's really useful. The problem is I would have liked to see an extra HDMI, because if you have one taken up using the audio return channel, then you only really have input for one input, and if you have more than one thing, that's just not going to work. Once you're powered on, the cover at the top will slide back and you'll get a picture. Now I'm using an ALR screen. It's basically a screen designed to reject ambient light. That in turn creates a clearer picture with darker blacks and just makes everything just pop a little bit more than an ordinary screen. Now BenQ do recommend that you use one of these with this projector, and ultimately I would recommend that with any UST projector that you look at getting an ALR screen too, because it makes such a massive difference to the overall picture you get at the end. Now down below I will put the links to the projector and the screen I'm using, so if you are interested in either of these, go down to that link and follow it to get yours there. It also supports the channel. Now this projector is recommended for screen sizes between 70 inches and 120, which is really nice to see, and you can go between any size in there with the manual focus. The screen I'm testing it on is 100 inches, so it's sort of a good midway point between the two. Once we're powered up, we need to set up our Android TV and all of the keystoning and stuff like that. So we have a vertical keystone setting where we can play with that. However, there are also adjustable legs on the projector, and I would recommend doing as much manual adjustment as possible, because that will give you the best possible picture available from the projector. If you could do everything manually by tilting the projector, that's going to work a lot better than if you're having to do a digital keystone. Now BenQ have gone with Android TV for their operating system, which is sort of the staple for smart projectors. And you know what else is the staple for smart projectors? Not supporting Netflix. That's right, this is another projector that you can't use Netflix on, which is a massive pain. Now there are workarounds which obviously aren't necessarily ideal, but if you happen to have another Fire Stick or an Apple TV or a console, you can get Netflix through that and it will work just fine. I don't know why it's not in the projector, but it's exactly the same with every single one I've been testing recently. Now all of our settings for the Android TV we can access, and we can set up all the different things, and then all of the settings for the projector are separate to that in a different menu. Now compared to most projectors, this is actually a much more advanced menu than you normally get. So if you are into making slight tweaks and you want to get things ever so perfect, this could be a very good option for you, because you can change loads and loads of different settings that you normally can't. Now, the streaming stick that you plug into the back to get the Android TV, I mean, it's pretty good. It's quite snappy. You can navigate menus with ease. There's no sort of lag, so that's really nice to see. The only slightly annoying thing regarding using the projector is that when you start watching something which is in a different mode that might be using HDR, so if you start a film that has HDR in it, it switches it on and it takes quite a long time. So it takes probably about 5 seconds of black screen before your program actually appears, and if it automatically plays when you click it, then you're going to miss 5 seconds and you're going to have to rewind. So that's a little bit annoying. It's not the end of the world, but just bear that in mind. So the first real thing to test is the picture. Now it is pretty good. The main positives being the picture quality and the color accuracy. It is just spot on. And when you're paying the big bucks for a projector like this, I mean, that surely has to be the minimum, but it does deliver, especially with HDR content. The projector is also really bright. It has 2500 anti-lumens, which is very, very good, and especially combined with an ALR screen, gives you a really nice clear picture even during the day. Focus uniformity is also very good. I didn't really notice any sort of details going out of focus in the far corners. So are there any issues? Well, yeah, you could say that with the black levels, they're not the best. One issue with UST projectors is that you do tend to get slightly worse black levels. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically it's just where there's something that's black and something that's almost black, you can't necessarily tell the difference between the two. Now this will get better depending on how dark the room is. Obviously if you're watching it in the day, it's going to be quite poor, and the black levels are going to be very bad, but then obviously as the room gets darker, that should be getting clearer. It doesn't ever reach a true black. It's not like an OLED TV, it's going to have a little bit of dark grey. So it's not perfect, but it actually doesn't look bad at all. You only ever really notice it in very dark scenes, so do bear that in mind. Now, a nice addition is the built-in speakers. It is a pretty good effort at a soundbar. They are tuned by Trevolo, so they are very, very good, and the sound quality is actually very impressive. But there is an issue, they're not perfect. The sound quality is good and clear, and it's almost exactly what you'd want from a built-in speaker, but it just doesn't quite get loud enough. It's because I think the wattage on the speakers are slightly too low. I really hope they would have probably put a bit more in that. When you're watching a movie, it's okay. I think I probably would want it to be able to go just that little bit louder. Once you're at max volume, you're sort of just wishing it would just pop just that little bit more. Now, what's it like for gaming? Honestly, it's not amazing. Unfortunately, because of the focus on picture quality and color accuracy, it does have a particularly bad effect on the input lag. Now, there aren't any sort of game specific features for this projector. That's not really what it's designed to do. Now, don't get me wrong, the games you play will look amazing. It's just not going to be that precise with input lag. You're probably looking about sort of 90 milliseconds for input lag on this, which compared to some of the other options where you can get as low as 4 milliseconds on the last projector I looked at from BenQ, it is a big jump. So I wouldn't recommend this for any sort of serious gamers. Casual gaming, it will probably be okay. You may notice it though. I think it is just bad enough that you might notice a bit of input lag from when you're turning and quickly turning a screen or quickly putting in reactionary type inputs into a game. I think it will be fine on a one-off, but I definitely wouldn't use this as your main display for gaming. So what are we saying with this projector? I actually really like this projector, and I do think it will be a great addition to any setup. The pros are that it has a fantastic picture quality, really good color accuracy, and it does have decent sound with the built-in speakers, and you get all of the nice features through Android TV 2. I think the main cons are going to be the gaming capabilities of it, that you just really probably shouldn't be using it for that type of entertainment, and then potentially the black levels. I mean, if you're comparing it to other UST projectors, it's not that bad, but if you're comparing it to a non-UST projector, you might find something elsewhere that has a bit of a better performance in that. So is this projector worth that kind of money? What do you think? £3,500 is a lot. So guys, click this video here to see my video on a projector I think BenQ have done, which would be good for gaming. And please do click the button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Whoop!